In a small American town, there is a grave with no name, no family, no flowers, no visitors. Just a stone that says, "A soldier, known only to God." But every Sunday morning for 40 years, one woman came to that grave. She stood there in silence, holding an old letter and whispered two words, "I'm sorry." People thought she was visiting a stranger, but the truth was, the man in that grave was the love of her life. And the reason he never came back from war was because of the last thing she said to him before he left. There is a small town in Pennsylvania where life is quiet and slow. On a hill at the edge of the town, there is an old cemetery. Tall trees stand around it, and the wind moves softly through the grass. Many people are buried there, and most of the graves have names, dates, flowers, and small flags. But one grave is different. It is very simple. There are no flowers, no flag, and no name. The stone only says, "A soldier, known only to God." People in the town call it the grave with no name. No one knows who the soldier was or where he came from. No one knows how he died, and for many years, no one came to visit that grave. At least, that is what people believed. Every Sunday morning at exactly 9 o'clock, an old woman in a gray coat walks slowly up the hill to that grave. She walks with a cane, step by step, very slowly. Her hair is white, and her face shows many years of life and memories. But her eyes are full of love and sadness. She stands in front of the grave for a few minutes and says nothing. Then she takes an old envelope out of her coat pocket. Inside the envelope there is a letter. The paper is old and yellow, and it has been read many times. Her hands shake as she opens the letter and reads it quietly. After she finishes reading, she whispers, "I'm sorry." Then she places a single white flower on the grave, touches the stone gently, and walks away. She does this every Sunday. In the rain, in the snow, in the cold, and in the wind, she never misses a Sunday. The people in the town see her every week, but no one asks her why she comes. They just watch her from a distance and wonder who she is and who the soldier is. One Sunday, a 12-year-old boy named Daniel is in the cemetery with his mother. They are visiting his grandfather's grave. Daniel sees the old woman standing at the grave with no name. He watches her read the letter and cry. When she turns to leave, Daniel walks up to her. "Ma'am," he says politely, "did you know the soldier?" The old woman stops and looks at him for a long moment. Then she says softly, "Yes, I knew him." "Was he your husband?" Daniel asked. She shakes her head. "No." "Was he your son?" She shakes her head again. Daniel is confused. Then who was he? The old woman looks back at the grave and her eyes fill with tears. She says, "He was the man I loved, but he never came back." They sit down on a bench near the grave, and the old woman begins to tell her story. Her name is Margaret, and many years ago, when she was young, she fell in love with a boy named Thomas. They grew up in the same town and went to the same school. Thomas was kind and hard-working. He was not rich, but he always helped people. He had a warm smile that made people feel safe and happy. When they were 19 years old, Thomas told Margaret that he loved her. He told her that one day he would build a small house near the river and that they would live there together. Margaret believed him because she loved him too. They planned to get married in the summer of 1968, but before summer came, Thomas had to go to war. He did not want to go, but he had no choice. The night before he left, he came to see Margaret. He gave her a letter and said, "Do not open this letter unless I do not come back." Margaret was scared and angry. She did not want him to go. She was afraid he would die and she would lose him forever. She was young and did not know how to say what she felt. So instead of saying, "I love you," she said something else. She said, "If you go to war, then do not come back." She did not mean it, but those were the last words she said to him. Thomas looked at her for a long time. Then he nodded slowly and said, "If that is what you want, I will keep my promise." He left the next morning. For a few months, Thomas sent letters from the war. He wrote about the long days and the cold nights. He wrote about how much he missed home and how much he missed her. He wrote that he kept her picture in his pocket and looked at it every night before he slept. Then, one day, the letters stopped coming. Margaret waited for weeks, then months. She wrote letters, but there was no answer. One afternoon, 2 soldiers came to her house and told her that Thomas had died in the war. They said his body was found after a battle, but he had no identification, no dog tags, no name. But in his pocket, they found a letter with Margaret's name on it. Margaret finally opened the letter Thomas had given her the night before he left. The letter said that he did not go to war to be a hero. He went because he wanted to be a man worthy of her. He wrote that the night before he left, when she told him to not come back, he decided he would keep that promise. He wrote that he loved her yesterday, he loved her today, and he would love her even when he was gone. Margaret never married anyone else. She never left the town. And when they buried an unknown soldier in that cemetery, she knew in her heart that it was Thomas. From that day on, she came to visit that grave for 40 years. After Daniel heard this story, he told his parents, and his parents told other people in the town. Soon the whole town knew the story of the grave with no name. The people decided that the soldier should not be without a name anymore. They held a small ceremony at the cemetery. Many people came. Margaret came too, holding her old letter. They removed the old stone that said, "A soldier known only to God," and they replaced it with a new stone. The new stone said, "Thomas Miller, beloved soldier, beloved son, beloved by Margaret." He kept his promise. When Margaret saw the new stone, she touched the name Thomas and cried. But she was also smiling because now the world knew his name. That Sunday was the last time anyone saw Margaret. The next morning, the cemetery keeper found a letter on Thomas's grave. The letter was from Margaret. In the letter, she wrote that she was young and afraid when he left, and that she was sorry for the last words she said to him. She wrote that Thomas kept his promise, and she kept hers too, because she came to see him every Sunday for 40 years. She wrote that now it was time for her to come and see him for real. Margaret died that night in her sleep. The town buried Margaret next to Thomas, and the grave that once had no name now had 2 names.